Hello and welcome back to the World of Warcraft Legion beta. For this video, I'm going to be showing you the Mage's Fire spec. As you can see, I'm all ready to go. I got my bar set up and my talents set up. If you are interested in seeing something like the class hall only or the talents and the abilities only, I will have annotations in the description. You can jump to those times and see that. But for now, we're going to start on our artifact quest and our class hall quest. So, now that we're in Dalaran, you can see I've skipped the opening scenarios so that we could get right to it. But before we do, I do want to show you some of the passives so you understand some of the things that are going on when I'm casting abilities and you're not totally confused. We have Critical Mass. Multiplies the critical strike chance of your Fireball, Pyroblast, and Scorch by 1.3. We have Enhanced Pyrotechnics. Each time your Fireball fails to critically strike a target, it gains a stacking 10% increased critical strike chance. The effect will end when Fireball critically strikes. We have Hot Streak. Getting 2 direct damage critical strikes in a row will make your next Pyroblast or Flame Strike spell instant cast and cause double the normal ignite damage. We have Mastery Ignite. Your target burns for an additional 27.7% over 9 seconds for a total. Direct damage caused by your Fireball, Inferno Blast, Scorch, Pyroblast, Meteor, and Flame Strike. If this effect is reapplied, any remaining damage will be added to the new Ignite. Every 2 seconds, your Ignite may spread to another enemy. And Molten Armor increases your spell critical strike chance by 15% and reduces all physical damage you take by 6%. So those are our passives, so if you see any of the buttons lighten up, that's why. I just want to give you a little heads up. Okay.
Greetings.
It is good to see you on your feet. The members of the Council of Six are recuperating from their ordeal. The intensity of the teleportation spell can be disorienting. It seems you lost consciousness for a time, but at least you didn't awaken to find yourself stuck in a wall. Dalaran has been relocated to the Broken Isles. From here, we will spearhead the effort to acquire the Pillars of Creation and drive the Legion from Azeroth once and for all. And when you complete this quest, you'll get a Dalaran Hearthstone, which is basically your new Garrison Hearthstone, along with 5 Tomes of the Tranquil Mind, which are used to reset your talents out in the open world, in raid, dungeons, or in a raid, as long as you are not in combat. So, as you can see, I don't have any quests to pick up. If you run around, eventually you will be prompted to start your artifact quest and your class hall quest. And that's not that for the shaman. It's a little bit different. Your quest will be over here, but for most of the classes, you just run around a little bit, and then either someone will run up to you, or like this quest, you'll get some text showing up here at the bottom of your screen.
Thank goodness I've reached you. I need your help.
You may not know me, but I need your help. Meet me at the Violet Gate and I'll explain everything. Make haste. I fear we have little time. And here actually, while we're here,
well met.
let's pick this up. Get all of our portals. There is one I want to test. I said I would test it in my Arcane Mage video that I put up recently, and completely forgot about it, so we'll test it out in this video.
Good, you made it. I'm afraid we have an escaped dreadlord on our hands. What knowledge
I was a
do
fool.
you seek?
I thought that I could banish Cathranatir once and for all, but instead the Dreadlord broke free. I had a problem saying this in the last video. In the years he spent trapped within my body, he must have been privy to my secrets, such as those of the Council of Tirisfal. The damage he could do with this knowledge is unthinkable. He must be stopped. Cathranatir escaped my grasp, but I know what his next step will be. He seeks an ancient relic called the Forge of the Guardian, used for centuries by the Council of Tirisfal to infuse their power into the Guardian. The forge was hidden away, its location known only to the Council themselves. Now the Dreadlord has the knowledge. We must go to the Violet Hold. I only hope we are not too late.
Honor the Tirisfallen. We must make haste to the Violet Hold. I will explain along the way. In ages past, the Forge of the Guardian was a source of great power for the Council of Tirisfal. When the Legion learned of the Forge's existence, the Council knew it had to be hidden somewhere safe. It was secreted to the Violet Hold. Not only was this the most secure location in Dalaran, it was a place few would think to look.
I do want to mention...
It seems my fears were well-founded. The Dreadlord is already inside. We must hurry.
Do want to mention before we go in, I am on a template character, so my gear is 680. You will probably have much better gear at this level while you are doing this, so be aware of that. My damage is not indicative of what yours will probably look like.
It's over, Dreadlord. Your evil reign ends here.
Pitiful wretch! You should have brought an army! What can one? The forge of the Guardian will be mine! You are pathetic. Your feeble spells cannot stop me!
He's too strong. We need the power of the forge. Find a way past his barrier. I'll try to keep him occupied.
Okay, so you can see the barrier is right here. If you try to walk across it, you'll be knocked back. All you have to do is blink.
You will not escape so easily, little mage.
Nice work! Now, destroy the rift, siphoning power from the forge. It's working! Activate the forge!
Take my power, champion! Banish this demon back from whence it came!
I've had enough of you, Fellstorm. Prepare to meet your end!
I could use a little help here!
Fool! The Legion will know your secrets. Count your days, Mage. I will return.
It is done. Thank you, hero. Alodai.
It is good to see you, old friend. Though I wish it were under better circumstances. The Dreadlord's defeat is only temporary. Once he regains his strength in the twisting nether, he will seek the forge again.
Then I know what must be done. Alodai, we need your help. We must take the Forge of the Guardian to a safer location.
The Hall of the Guardian. It pains me to see it in such disrepair.
The Hall hasn't seen any use since the disbanding of the Council of Tirisfal. The wards protecting this place are still strong. I think it will serve our needs.
And what is your plan?
I shall reform the Guard, and this mage will be its first champion. What say you? The wards protecting this place are still strong. I think it will serve our needs. You have my ear.
In times past, the Council of Tearsfall called upon the Guard.
And what is your plan?
To do battle in the Guardian's absence. It is clear now that the Hall of the Guard must be rebuilt to face the new threat. I need your help to accomplish this. First of all, you will need to know how to get to this hall. I will show you. And you'll get teleport to the Hall of the Guardian. Which, as you see, went to our bar, but it is, that's our portals. If you go to your teleport list, it will be at the very top with a 1-minute cooldown. It is decided then, the foundation of the Guard's strength lies in the ancient artifacts wielded by its champions. Your first task will be to retrieve one such artifact. The master appendix of this library lists every artifact known to the Council of Tearsfall. There should be a few choices in there worth looking into. I will leave it to you to choose which to pursue.
Beware the Nathrazim.
So, this is the appendix of Azerothian artifacts. This is where we will choose our weapon. As you can see, there is Aluneth, Phalomalorn, and Ebonchill. For the purposes of our video, though, we will be going for Phalomalorn and the offhand Heart of the Phoenix, which are the fire items. You can go at any point, well, not at any point, but at, I believe, 103 and 110, you can go back in Legion and switch specs or grab the other items. So, if you are interested in switching from fire, or you just want to have the other two to mess around with at some point, you will have the opportunity to do so. Okay, so Flamestrike in its native tongue. Phalomalorn was born into battle by members of the Sunstrider family as they proved their valor in the War of the Ancients during the Troll Wars and against the Death Knight Arthas Menethil. Ultimately, the sword was lost in the frigid wastes of Northrend. And as you can see, Phalomalorn and its offhand are both start at item level 750. So let's head back. We'll talk to Merrill Fellstorm and get started.
I will help how I can.
This is a wise choice. It should serve you well in our hunt for Kathra Natir.
The Guard must not fail.
Phalomalorn. I am familiar with this weapon. For ages, the Council of Tearsfall attempted to recover the blade. Its control over the primal forces of fire would be devastating in the wrong hands. As luck would have it, an associate of mine, Archmage Madara, however you say it, has recently uncovered some information on this artifact. This crystal contains a message from her. I suggest you start your search there. The portal over there will bring you back to the city.
Return here once you have retrieved the artifact. In the meantime, I'll see about tidying up a bit.
So, this is the last time we will see the Hall of the Guardian in disrepair. It is very cool. We can run around this and down, but we don't want to do that because we want to see it at its full potential. Just in case you are wondering, this gentleman, Elodie, you will learn more about him in the pre-patch quests. So that's why I'm not talking about him right now. I don't want to spoil anything for you. You will understand more later. So we'll take the portal that he made back to Dalaran. And here we are. This is where we zoned in the first time. And let's click on our glowing resonant crystal.
Greetings. I trust this projection is clear. This is Modera, Archmage of the Council of Six. I've come across a lead on a weapon that could significantly aid your fight against the Legion. My source is, well, unable to join us within the city. I ask that you meet with me at the crater of Dalaran's foundation in Hillsbrad. Due to the sensitive nature of this matter, I must ask for your discretion. If you attempt to speak to me at any other location, I will disavow all knowledge of this message. I await your arrival.
Okay, so let's head to Dalaran Crater. I do believe if you have the portal to Dalaran Crater in your spellbook, you can also use that, or the teleport to that area, but since we do not, and if you don't in general, you will come here to the middle of Dalaran where the Chamber of the Guardian is, and we're going to step onto that portal platform, which will take us down into the portrait room. You will spend some time in here. This is a heavy lore area, so I'm not going to talk about any of this. We're just going to run right on through so we don't have any spoilers. As you can see, there are 5 portals down here. These all will help you get around for all of the scenarios that you will do for your artifacts and your class halls. Here we go. Portal to Dalaran Crater is right here. As you can see, we do have the slow fall spell. If you do not have the slow fall spell and you need to take this portal, you can talk to the goblin Ricket here.
What do you want?
Who will give you 410 gold, a goblin glider. We're just going to take that. I guess it's a little bit easier to get around once we're through the portal. We can go right to the sides. Boom. And we'll make a little float around. Boom.
Welcome. I'm glad you received my message.
Need help?
I'm glad you came. I've found information on just the thing we need to turn this war in our favor. Phalomalorn, the rune blade of the kings of Quel'Thalas. It was said to harness the very essence of flame after being reforged by Kael'thas, could even stand against the legendary Frostmourne. We thought that the blade was lost with Kael'thas' death, but an associate of mine has a lead on where it may be located. We need every advantage we can get, and with Phalomalorn in your hand, the Legion surely will tremble. Ah, our company is here.
Light bless you.
Thank you both for meeting me in such an inhospitable location. I assure you that if I were able to meet you in Dalaran, I would.
The wounds inflicted by the Divine Bell incident run deep, Aethys. Others in the Council are not as forgiving as I.
Precisely why I'm here. If I can't return to my former position, then perhaps the Council would at least consider restoring my access to the city. As a show of good faith, I have information to offer.
I will bring your case before the others, but I cannot promise the outcome will be in your favor.
You have my thanks, friend. I once knew Leandra Sunstrider, a distant relative of King Anasterion. Though she bore the Sunstrider name, in truth, her branch of the family held no claim to the throne. After Kael'thas' betrayal, she became obsessed with finding Phalomalorn to claim it for her own. I told her it was a fool's errand, that she'd never find the relic. Indeed, it has been many years since I last heard from her. But with the Legions coming, I decided to begin my own search for the location of the blade. I saw a vision of Leandra with the weapon in hand. Around her, the land was covered in ice, and an all too familiar fortress loomed behind her.
Icecrown, you believe you'll find her there?
Indeed I do. And nothing happens in that citadel unless its master wills it. I would not be surprised to learn he had a hand in this. You have my attention?
Our next journey will be to Icecrown. There, in the heart of the Scourge, we will find Phalomalorn.
We must overcome the mistakes of the past.
It is time we make our move. I can conjure a portal that will take you directly inside, but it will take some time before I can make another one and join you. The Lich King will no doubt sense the magic of your arrival, so you will need to move fast to locate Phalomalorn and secure it. If Leandra has the blade with her, then I fear she may relinquish it easily. Be prepared for anything.
Safe travel. The portal will take you directly inside Icecrown. Hurry, it won't last long. I'll follow after you as soon as I can. Good luck, hero.
And to Icecrown we go.
I sense an intruder who has come in search of plunder. You underestimate the dangers of Icecrown, foolish mage. Your thoughts are transparent. I sense you have come seeking Phalomalorn. You hope to use it against the Legion. Interesting. responsible for the fate which befalls you, any more than I was for what happened to the last Seeker who hoped to take my relic. Should you succeed, the blade is yours. But if you should fail, then you will become a mindless minion of the Scourge. Do not expect my protection.
So as you can see, I am in, and not the best gear, so I do take, I do take quite a bit of damage. Unfortunately, polymorph does not work on any of those mobs, so you have to become a little creative. If you were to find that you're having trouble, I would suggest maybe taking Ring of Frost to be able to freeze some of those guys, so you can fight them one by one. So you can see there are frost blocks here, and I believe if we attack them, we may get allies? I'm not 100% sure on that, but... Nope. Nope, that was a bad idea. Okay. So, don't do that. So it looks like maybe you want to get behind these ice blocks and then avoid getting too close to them. Just like I did there. Oh, and I'm just attacking anything in particular. Okay, this is going well. Oh boy, it's going real well. You have to forgive me. I'm a bit groggy. I do like the damage that Frost does. The only thing I don't like is it feels like a ton of RNG. It doesn't feel like you actually have any capability of determining what your DPS is going to be without it feeling like you are just hoping that the RNG is on your side that day. But it is a lot of fun. I do like it in PvP. I have played it on the PvP realm. It is particularly good. I have not tried Frost yet at all, so when we do get to Frost, that will be a little bit of fun. Alright, let's just wait for that to end. We're going to make our way here. So you can basically just stand along the center line here and switch back and forth. And get up to the Iceborne Conjurer here. So we just have to hit these walls a couple times, break them down, and start making our way a little bit closer.
I too came to Icecrown in search of fellow Milorn. The Lich King gave me the blade, and more. He gave me purpose. Only when the blinding pain of life left me did I see the truth. Only then was the majesty of the plan revealed. You do not realize that you're groping in the darkness. Fellow Milorn would be wasted in your hands. The blade is mine by the will of the Master and by rights of blood. Oppose me and you will be struck down.
Well, so she came here to find fellow Milorn, and apparently the Lich King decided that he was going to take her soul. So, obviously Bolvar has been a bit busy since the last time we saw him. Okay. Now, it appears we can only go to the right here. We have another group of 3, so let's stick these on the bar. We are stuck in combat, unfortunately. So, oh, there we go. Let's go ahead and eat, and let's... Oop. Now is as good a time as any. As you can see, I could use Ring of Frost here, so I'll pop a Tome of the Tranquil Mind, switch to Ring of Frost, and now I have that ability available to me, so I can have a little bit of CC. And we can see it's a little bit easier when you get those packs of 3. Again, you'll be in much better gear, so you may not have the problems that I am, but if you do have similar gear, Ring of Frost might not be a bad idea. Oh, well, it doesn't work on the big guy. Had a little trouble with my mouse there. You could probably tell. My mouse moved over to another one of my monitors, so apologize for that if you got a little dizzy there. But let's continue on our adventure. It seems we'll be going to the right here. Let's cast some Pyroblast. I haven't played a Fire Mage since Vanilla WoW, so all I ever remembered was Palm Pyro. Okay.
Foolish mortal! You should have fled when you had the chance. Arise, ghouls! Feast upon this intruder's heart! Unacceptable! My minions will rip you apart! defeated! Come, my pet! Sate your hunger with the flesh of the living!
That wasn't that bad. Did take a little bit of damage there, but nothing that we couldn't handle, nothing we couldn't out-damage. So it appears we are in pursuit of Liandra Sunstrider. And this is the room where we fought the three...
Enough of these games! This ends here.
For some reason, I have a feeling those bones behind her are there for a reason. Well, we're gonna find out. Let's go ahead and hit her with a meteor.
If you long for my blade so badly, then you shall have it! Awaken, Gullwing! Tear my foe asunder!
Yep. Here we go.
I'm with you, hero. I'll hold Liandra at bay. Focus on destroying that monster of hers.
Aethys! How dare you! Have you forgotten who I am? This ends now!
I remember who you were, but the creature before me now is but a walking corpse.
So cold.
All doubt has been banished. You are truly worthy of the blade. Claim your prize and leave, hero. The living have no place within my prison of ice.
An inglorious stain upon the Sunstrider name has been cleansed. Good work, hero.
Well, that was a little rude, wasn't it? But there is Philomalorn. Let's go ahead and claim our prize. Pretty awesome. And as you can see, with getting Philomalorn, we got...
Let's go, before the Lich King decides we've overstayed our welcome. I must plead my case before the council.
Once we take the portal, I'll show it to you in a moment, the ability that we gain from equipping the item. Okay, before we go in, I will show you this really quickly, and we'll take a look more in depth at the animation later. We have Phoenix Flames. This is an instant cast with a 45-second recharge time. It does have 3 charges. You will hurl a Phoenix that causes 20,422 fire damage to the target and splashes 6,807 fire damage to other nearby enemies. This damage is always a critical strike. We'll take a look at that a little bit later.
Esteemed archmages of the council, may I present to you the bearer of Philomalorn.
Okay.
You need
so there's
something?
gonna be more. Philomalorn, I can barely believe that such great power is locked within a blade as beautiful as this. With this weapon in your hands, the Legion will surely fall.
Be careful.
As you can see, our former colleague followed through on his promise of assistance. I trust you will take that into account as you consider his request to be allowed back in the city.
How do we know he won't betray the Kirin Tor once again?
If he wished to use the blade for his own ends, he would have simply given it to one of his Sunreavers. Aethys' actions appear to be genuine. I say we grant his request.
Very well. That's 2 in favor of allowing Aethys back into the city. Answer him. How do you vote?
Very well. I trust the wisdom of Carlene's council. I vote yes.
And what say the rest of you?
Yes, of course.
Then it is decided. Aethys Sunreaver, you are free to go. Do not misuse this opportunity given to you.
Oh, and he just goes invisible. Okay, well, kind of anticlimactic, but now the Sunreaver, the former Archmage Sunreaver, is now allowed back into Dalaran with us getting Philomilorn. As you can see, now that we have Philomilorn, we have these 3 globes floating around this, which I believe are tied to Phoenix Flames, and we'll check that out in a little bit. I can sense the power of the artifact you hold. It will do well against the Legion as it is, but we have the ability to unlock its power even further. You must return to the Hall of the Guardian. You can use the incantation I taught you before to pass through the runes. So, we will use our teleport to the Hall of the Guardian. And this will be the first time we see our completed, well, the opening of our completed class hall. As you can see, when you do teleport, there is a light that comes out of you. And there's our portal back to Dalaran. I just want to point that out. You can go back at any time. But here it is, ladies and gentlemen. The entrance to our class hall. Absolutely beautiful. One of my personal favorites. Just incredible. I love the feel to this. And let's head up and check out the main room. Tons of fire mages here, trying it out, and we'll walk around and check this out while I talk about some of the class hall features that we can't access right now. We would have to do some questing, and I'll talk about that while we walk around and check out the rest of our class hall. But here is the area we were to begin with, looking much better. And there's Merrill.
Yes?
You learn quickly. I think Kathra Natir will rue the day he made you his enemy. In ancient times, the Forge of the Guardian was used to channel the power of the Council of Tearsfall into one mage, creating a Guardian. But this is not its only use. It also serves as a font of arcane energy which can be used to manipulate and empower the artifacts of this world. This power will allow us to gain the upper hand against the Dreadlord and the Burning Legion, and I ask you to be the first one to tap into it.
Beware the Nathrazim.
So, the Forge of the Guardian is right here in the middle. If you did have a hard time seeing, there are people standing around it, but you can kind of see little sparks coming off of it, sparkles. So, before we do, let's take a look at our weapon as it appears when we first obtain it. That is what it will look like on our character model. Pretty cool indeed. You will be able to transmog this. By the way, you will be able to transmog this to certain things. I think there was another mage. He's gone now, unfortunately, but there was another mage who had the upgrade of it. And you can also transmog this to anything you want as well. As of now, you can transmog this to something else, such as this mage right here, who has transmogged it. So if you're not thrilled with the way it looks to begin with, you can transmog it to anything that you've obtained over time in the transmog system. So let's go ahead and click on the Forge of the Guardian. There we go. As you can see, this is Philomilorn. There's our Phoenix Flames ability we were given when we equipped the item, and that leads on to Wings of Flame. This is a 1-rank passive. It increases all fire damage you deal by 5%, and it costs 100 artifact power. As you can see, Blizzard has given us 100 artifact power for finishing up our quest and obtaining the item and for the purposes of the tutorial. So we're going to go ahead and open up the rest of the traits. Now you can see there are 3 golden dragon portraited traits. These are your big traits. These are the ones you want to work towards. So make sure when you first get here, you choose one that you want to head for right away, because it will become significantly harder after you hit 110 to make your way towards the others. It does cost a lot more. So make sure you're choosing wisely, as you can't take your artifact power out as of right now. Okay, so if we move over to our left, to our right, and up and down, you can see that these are all connected to the one we just clicked on in the trait we just took. These are the directions that we can go. They cost 300 artifact power, and I believe each rank will cost 300 artifact power as well. It may change by the time the Legion servers go live. It may be 300, 350, and 400 for each rank, but as of right now, I do believe it's 300 artifact power per rank. Do keep in mind as well, each rank will increase the percentage of these values that we will talk about. I'm not going to talk about them at rank 3, so you'll just have to do the little bit of math in your head. This obviously would be up to 15% at max rank. So let's go ahead and get started and look at all these traits. We have Great Balls of Fire, a 3 rank passive, increasing damage dealt by Fireball by 3%. That leads to Big Mouth, a 1 rank passive, increasing the range of Dragon's Breath by 3 yards. A 3 rank passive called Ever Burning Consumption. It increases the damage dealt by Ignite by 4%. And that leads us to our first big trait, Phoenix Reborn, a 1 rank passive. Targets affected by our Ignite have a chance to erupt in flame, taking 3,574 additional fire damage and reducing the remaining cooldown on Phoenix's Flame by 10 seconds. And Phoenix's Flame is our artifact ability. Over here we have Blue Flame Special, a 3 rank passive, increasing damage dealt by Flame Strike by 5%. Scorched Earth, a 1 rank passive. Casting Scorch grants you 5% movement speed, stacking up to 5 times. Keep in mind, I do want to mention, sometimes I forget to mention this, these traits do not work in PvP. So if you see something in particular, go, wow, that's going to break PvP for fire mages, or whatever video you're watching, and oh wow, that's incredible. It doesn't work at PvP. Okay, so don't get too excited about these if you're a PvPer only. Here we have Cauterizing Blink, a 3 rank passive. Activating Blink heals you for 5% of your maximum health over 6 seconds. That leads up to Pyroclasmic Paranoia, a 3 rank passive, increasing damage dealt by Pyroblast by 2%. We have Burning Gaze, another 3 rank passive, increasing fire critical damage you deal by 1%. And that leads to our second trait, major trait, Aftershocks, a 1 rank passive. Flame Strike calls down 1 additional pillar of fire each time it is cast. That is a lot of AoE. Blast Furnace, a 1 rank passive. Fire Blast deals an additional 4,509 fire damage over 9 seconds. Here we have Reignition Overdrive, a 3 rank passive, increasing damage dealt by Inferno Blast by 8%. Molten Skin, a 3 rank passive. Molten Armor reduces all physical damage you take by an additional 3%. Here we have Fire at Will, a 3 rank passive, reducing the cast time of Fireball by 3%. And our last major trait, Pyretic Incantation, a 1 rank passive. Each consecutive critical strike you deal increases critical strike damage you deal by 5%. So if you can chain a lot of crits, if you stack crit and you stack haste and you get those spells out fast, you can definitely get this up pretty high. Okay, now you can see up here we have 3 slots that we can put relics into. These relic slots, these 2 relic slots are available the minute you gain the weapon. Obviously this one is locked, and this will remain locked probably well into 110 depending on how much you play, because you have to finish your Mage Order Hall campaign, so you'll have to finish your lore story, which does take a while because you need to do some garrison mission type things. But for these, you will get relics to put in these slots through quests and through dungeons. These effects will add item levels to Flo Malorn and the Offhand. It will also add ranks to some of these. Even if you don't have any points into them, it can still add ranks. So, let's say for instance we get this. We have 3 ranks in Cauterizing Blink, which means activating Blink would heal us 15%, and it adds 2 more. That would mean activating Blink would heal us for 25% of our maximum health over 6 seconds. So keep that in mind. Do also want to mention that once you have put a relic into one of these slots, you cannot take them back out. If you are looking to put another relic inside and you are not sure if it is an upgrade or not, if they are, say, giving the same amount of item levels, make sure that you are putting in relic that you 100% are guaranteed to want, because otherwise you're going to lose what is inside one of these relic slots. You do not get to take them back out. Okay, now if we go up here, you can see a 1 has appeared in the top right corner. That gives us a passive of stamina. As you can see, for healers and tanks it is a little bit different. They add damage as well, but since the mages are all damage specs, you just get a bunch of passive stamina. You will get 0.75% stamina every trait you purchase, up to 34 traits. So since we've purchased one trait, put 1 point in, we have 0.75% extra stamina added on. Also, you are able to bring this UI up anywhere in the world by shift right clicking in your character tab, and you can see we bring up Philomilorn. You can put relics in your slots anywhere in the world as well. You do not need to be here in your class order hall, but you do need to be at the Forge of the Guardian to put in any artifact power. That is the only place where you are able to put points into your traits, so keep that in mind. Okay, so now that we've taken a look at that, we'll go over
What
to
knowledge
Arrowfell
do you
Storm
seek?
and continue our questing. Your artifact is well on its way to reaching its true potential, but even with its power, you will not be able to fight the Legion alone. We will need to begin recruiting other mages to our cause. Unfortunately, the protective wards surrounding the hall may be prohibitive to this. After all, I cannot personally teleport every one of them here. However, a solution to this particular problem might be right under our noses. There's a goblin who is a master of portals and teleportation by the name of Akazam Zarak. I forget how to say this shit. His talents have gone mostly unnoticed, however, since he mostly uses them for chicanery. He is what you would call a street performer. Fortunately for us, he is performing in the streets of Dalaran, grifting coins from the unenlightened masses. Take this bag of gold, see if you can convince him to change his vocations.
The Dreadlords must fall.
So, we're going to have to head back to Dalaran, which, remember, our portal is right down here. Have to excuse me. A little bit of allergies at the moment. And there we are. We will just click on the portal. This will take us back to the streets of Dalaran. And we will go find our goblin friend, who's actually right down here below the portal, the statue to Ronan.
Gaze in astonishment as I produce a rabbit from this ordinary hat.
And you can click
Thank
on
you.
his buckle
Now
here.
that's what I call a tip. Show's over, folks. Go on, scram. Get out of here, kid. You bother me. Step right up.
You could say you've got my attention, pal. So you're looking to hire me on full time, eh? Well, if the future payoffs are anything like this, I'd say you've got yourself a deal. Portals, teleportation, you bet I can help you out with that. I mean, how do you think I pull a rabbit? How do you think I pull the rabbit out of? You didn't hear that. Anyway, I can help you move your mages around if the price is right. Heck, I can even teach those combat mages a thing or two. Ever been on a receiving end of an exploding bunny? It ain't pretty. For starters, let me whip up a portal to take us to this hall you're talking about.
Time is mana, friend. All right, let's see if I can get a portal through these wards you're talking about. Piece of cake. See you on the other side.
And we'll click on his portal back to the Hall of the Guardian. And speak with
Hey,
Arrowfell Storm.
look at this. Nice place you got here.
I will help how I
I
can.
understand he may be unconventional, but I think this goblin is exactly what we'll need to quickly get this new Tears Guard up to snuff for the task at hand. I've already sent word to many talented mages who can help. They await transportation to the hall, where they can begin their new purpose. Shall we?
The Tirisgard must not fail. All right, Akazam Zarak. You have the locations. Do you think you can manage the portals?
No sweat, chum. I'll get your mages here in a jiffy. Portals are good to go, boss. Now, if you don't mind, I'm gonna check out the digs here.
Mages of Azeroth, I have summoned you here because we face a threat to the future of the world itself. The Dreadlord Cathranatir has escaped into the Twisting Nether, carrying with him the secrets of the Council of Tirisfal. We must hunt him down in the Twisting Nether. Only then will we know his knowledge cannot be used against us. Will you join us and take up arms against the Legion? It is done then. You have my ear.
The Tears Guard is reformed. It is time we begin our mission in earnest. The Order will need leaders, and though I may be an experienced mage, I am no strategist. You've proven yourself capable in both the past exploits and present. Will you take on this challenge?
Honor the Tirisfallen. Very well. Here, in presence of many of Azeroth's greatest mages, it is my honor to dub you Conjurer of the Tirisguard. This ancient title symbolizes the awesome responsibility borne by the Tirisguard. May you carry it with honor. It is time to meet with our new goblin ally in the war room. You can begin planning your next steps there. I have some personal business to attend to.
Okay, now that we've kind of finished that up, we're going to be heading over and checking out another UI that we'll be using in our class order hall. But before we do, let's check out this. This is pretty cool. This is where we were originally, where we picked what weapon we were going to take at this floating tome. As you can see, the library circularly goes up as well as down. Pretty awesome. I love this. Room. I do want to point out a couple of other things about the class order hall while we're here. You can look at the top and see this UI has popped up every time we come here, and it shows order resources. Those order resources are used to send your champion hall companions on missions. I believe some of them will probably be the ones who came through the portals. That's how it's been. On other classes that I've played, usually you'll have major lore characters helping you out along the way, so I'm assuming you may see Calicos and Modera, as well as Magister Varenthus as some of your class hall companions. They are also used as bodyguards. There are usually 2 to 3 that you are able to choose from, who you will be able to bring with you in the open world while you are questing, and that will be spoon-fed to you. You will be brought to your table and say, hey, you can bring this person with you now, and you can drag it down to a little slot on your mission UI that will be about the size of the UIs we've seen so far. You can drag them down, and that he or she will be able to follow you throughout the world. So I would suggest bringing someone with you at all times. It does make it a lot easier to do your questing, and to also, this guy's lagging a lot, to do your questing and to also do your world quests / dailies at level 100. You also use order resources to gain minions. I was going to say minion mobs, but minions you'll be able to bring on missions, well, or send on missions rather, like your garrison missions. Instead of sending, a champion, another champion, you'll be able to send maybe 2 champions and a minions, and they each add certain success rate increases depending on the mobs that you're fighting and such, and then they'll disappear when the mission's over. You have to go to someone and recruit more minions. So it's very simple. You'll be spoon-fed that as well. They'll kind of have quests to take you through everything you need to know in the class order hall, but I did want to talk about that. You will also use your order resources at an NPC called the class hall upgrade NPC. When you do get to that point, they will kind of spoon-feed that through to you until you hit 110, at which you will kind of be on your own. Make sure that you're upgrading that as much as possible, because if you are not, you will end up missing out on some of the better perks, one of which is increase the success chance for your first mission of the day that you send out. Another one would be gaining 1 of your 3 seals per week for bonus rolls in raids, and the final one, which takes 14 days, it could take up to 2 weeks. So usually, from what I understand, it could take 2 or more months to finish all of your class order hall upgrades. You will be able to wear 2 of these. These are the legendary items available to the fire spec. You can wear one when you hit level 110. As you can see, they are item level 895 and they are incredibly powerful. They all have different equip bonuses, some of them being more damage based, some of them being utility, and some of them being defensive, but wearing 2 of these will make raiding a breeze for you. You will do either a hell of a lot more damage, you'll be more survivable. Either way, you will be an asset to any raid with 2 of these. Take a look at just a couple of them. You can see this one increases Dragon's Breath's damage by 100% and the rage by 25 yards. After casting Blink, you gain an Absorb Shield equal to 20% of your maximum health for 15 seconds. Here, Scorch deals 250% increased damage against enemies below 25% health, so it's kind of like spam execute. But those are just some of the options that we have. I don't want to go over all of them, because I'd like you to have something to look at when you actually get to Legion. I don't want to ruin everything for you. But now that we've talked about that, we are going to take a run over to the War Room, and then we'll look around our class hall a little bit more. And then I have one more thing to show you before we look at our talents and abilities.
Yeah?
And we're back at Akazamzarak. That's how you say his name. So you're a conjurer now, huh? Fancy. We've got a good start with this Tears Guard thing here, but I think we should keep up the recruiting if we plan on invading Demon Town. Fortunately for you, nobody negotiates contracts like a goblin. I don't know about you, but I'm ready to get this show on the road. This place is nice and all, but it's a bit stuffy. I'll see what I can do to get some more mages in this group of yours. You go ahead and check the map over there. It'll help you plan your first moves.
Now
So
where'd
this is our
that
scouting
rabbit
map.
run off to?
You can see it right here. We'll click on it. Boom. This brings up the map where we will choose our landing point when we go and start our questing in the Echo Isles. Or the Echo Isles, Jesus. The Broken Isles. This right here is Suramar. You will not be able to do this until you are level 110. So don't worry about this or any of these islands here. These are used for something else. But we can choose from any of these 4. I just want to mention that they do level with you. It does not matter where you start and where you finish. Just pick whichever one you think looks the most interesting, either from videos you've seen or from the description. And head there and have a good time. All the zones are very good. If you are planning on leveling with someone else, I do want to mention, since the zones level with you, you still are able to quest with your friend. Say you're 105 and they're 103, and you're both about to start a new zone. You can, let's say, for instance, you choose Stormheim. As long as you are in the same phase, you two can quest together, and you can also still do dungeons together. It will not make a difference. Okay? So keep that in mind. You do not have to worry about the world leveling with you affecting your capabilities to group with people. But for the purposes of this video, I'm going to pick Stormheim, and you will be prompted to come back here through quests eventually when you finish Stormheim to start and pick another zone, etc., etc. Until all your zones are done, and the game will progress from there. So we'll talk again with Akazamzarak.
Pick a card. Any
All right
card.
then. I can get started recruiting, and you can get into taking the fight to those demons. Yeah, I know. I'm letting you take the easy job, but hey, what are friends for?
Tips are appreciated.
Okay, so now we would take the portal back to Dalaran, as you can see. If you ever are on your mini-map and you can see, you're like, oh, where is this? I've looked all around, you're on the bottom floor, you can't find it. If you see an arrow up or an arrow down, it tells you that you're either a floor above or a floor below. So we would take these stairs up to the portal to Dalaran, which is right up there, and we would head back and start our quest to go to Stormheim. But as you can see, this is their class order hall. Some of the areas don't have very much in them at the moment.
Need help?
It's not that big of a deal. We are in an instanced version of Dalaran, as you can see below. You can kind of see Dalaran, and if we run to the other side, you'll be able to see it a little bit better. But there's nothing really on this side yet, except the scouting map. But if we head to the other end, we will see probably a few more people. This is a cool little area here. I don't know what this is for. This is probably used in some form of lore during the game, because there is a lot of lore quests that go on. Each class has its own kind of quest line as it goes through. We're all attacking in a certain way. As you can see, we could play a little Hearthstone. Not really, but we could if we wanted to. We could pretend. We can RP. We can all RP here. But you can see this is an instance version of Dalaran. There's literally nothing down there. It's just to make it look kind of cool, which I think is amazing. Come out here, sit and reflect on what you're doing with your life, because instead of making friends and money, we're fighting some coding in a video game. But here is another place where you'll probably find a lot of mages at times. This is where our training dummies are. This is very important. This is where you will come test your DPS. There are none, I believe, in Dalaran itself, so you will have to come to your class order hall or go to a major city like Stormwind to be able to check out your DPS like that. But I would prefer to come to my class order hall, because this is where you're going to find the best mages. It must be on this. We'll check this side. Yeah, there he is. And you can see we got these little rooms up on the top as well, with some NPCs. This is the one we're interested in. Jackson Watkins. He is our quartermaster, and as you can see, from when we click on him, he has, let's get rid of some of this crap, a set that we are able to purchase for 500 gold a piece, the Tiras Guard set. This is kind of a 0.5 tier set, like Ankaraj was. This will be your quote-unquote blue set. It doesn't look the best, in my opinion. It looks okay. I wouldn't be too worried about it. Of course, you can transmog this to whatever the hell you want. I prefer to think this set as something for people who are playing a mage as an alt, someone that doesn't have a lot of time and you just want to do world quests for gold, or maybe order resources, or whatever. This set is probably good for you if you are a casual player as well. As you can see, it ranges and varies from level 8 to 10 to item level 840. And they all have their own requirements. The helm itself is a 110 item only, but the others require something else, like Honored with the Nightfallen, requires 6 champions from your order hall, all the way down to the epic items, which will require you to have earned 100,000 artifact power and exalted with the Nightfallen. Like I said, this set would be really good for a casual player, someone on an alt. It's not necessarily for those of you who will be jumping in and trying to get into raids and doing mythic dungeons right away, because you will probably out-level this gear and get better gear right away. But you can also upgrade all of these blue pieces to 840, as you can see. There are these armor kits, which are the same thing we had in Draenor for our item upgrades. They cost order resources, and you can upgrade your entire set all the way to 840. So if you're
see you around.
If you've got a lot of alts and you don't have time to kind of gear them all up, you can kind of work towards that just by doing your dailies out in the world and trying to get Titan Guard pieces, or Titan Forged, I think it's called. Titan Forged pieces, which has, your item level will be super high, and you can get this set to go along with it. Also,
looking for something
freeze right
specific?
here if you want to pause the video and check out the set bonuses. You can do that, but I'm not going to read them off
Have a good
right
one.
now, because it's not too interesting. So now that we've taken a look at that, let's head downstairs again, and we're going to take a look at our talents, and then we're going to take a look at the animations and our baseline abilities. So here we are. We're back at our training dummies. Let's head outside with Dalaran in the background, and we'll take a look at our talents. Ooh, wrong button. Here we are in the 15 tier now for Fire Mages. We have Pyromaniac, a passive where casting Pyroblast or Flame Strike while Hot Streak is active has a 8% chance to instantly reactivate Hot Streak. So you can get a ton of instant cast Pyroblasts. Conflagration, another passive fireball, also applies conflagration to the target, dealing an additional 1,428 fire damage over 8 seconds. Enemies affected by either conflagration or ignite have a 10% chance to flare up and deal 2,860 fire damage to nearby enemies. And then we have Firestarter, another passive. Your fireball spell always deals a critical strike when the target is above 85% health. In the 30 tier, we now have Shimmer. This would replace Blink. It is an instant cast costing 3,200 mana with a 15-second recharge time and a maximum of 2 charges. Teleports you 20 yards forward unless something is in the way. unaffected by the global cooldown, and you can cast this while casting. We also have Cauterize, a passive where fatal damage instead brings you to 35% health and then burns you for 28% of your maximum health over 6 seconds. While burning, movement slowing effects are suppressed and your movement speed is increased by 150%. This effect cannot occur more than once every 2 minutes. And we have Cold Snap, a passive that gives Ice Block 2 charges and will heal you for 3% of your maximum health every second. And of course, Ice Block lasts for 10 seconds, so you would get 30% if you were to last through the entire Ice Block. In the 45 tier, we have Mirror Image, costing 3200 mana, instant cast with a 2-minute cooldown, creating 3 copies of yourself, which cast spells and attack your enemies, and they last for 40 seconds. We also have Rune of Power, a 1.36 second cast with a 45-second recharge time. Places a Rune of Power on the ground for 10 seconds, which increases your spell damage by 50% while you stand within 8 yards. You can have a maximum of 2 charges. This is probably the best in the tier for more experienced mages. I like Mirror Image for leveling. Incanter's Flow is probably the worst, but for people who want to have that damage increase and are bad at remembering to put Rune of Power down, and you're maybe a little more casual on the casual side, I would go with Incanter's Flow, which is a passive that allows magical energy to flow through you while in combat, building up to 20% increased damage, and then diminishing down to 4% increased damage, cycles every 10 seconds. In the 60 tier, we have Blast Wave. This is an instant cast with a 25-second cooldown, causing a fiery explosion around the target enemy or ally, dealing 14,296 fire damage to all enemies within 8 yards, and reducing their movement speed by 70% for 4 seconds. A primary enemy target will take 100% increased damage. We are going to click on that so that we can take a look at the animation. Flame On is an instant cast with a 40-second cooldown. This will immediately grant 2 charges of your Fire Blast. And finally, Controlled Burn, a passive when you gain heating up, you have a 10% chance to instantly activate Hot Streak. In the 75 tier, we have Ice Flows. This is an instant cast with a 20-second recharge and a maximum of 3 charges, which will make your next mage spell with a cast time shorter than 10 seconds castable while moving, unaffected by the global cooldown, and you can cast while casting. We have Ring of Frost, a 3200 mana cost on a 1.81 second cooldown with a 1.81 second cast with a 45-second cooldown. This will summon a Ring of Frost for 10 seconds at the target location. Enemies entering the ring are incapacitated for 10 seconds, and you can only use it on up to 10 targets. Anything above that would run through it. Ice Ward is the last passive in this tier, and where Frost Nova would now have 2 charges. In the 90 tier, we have Living Bomb. This is a 2400 mana cost instant cast with a 10.9 second cooldown. The target becomes a living bomb, taking 7,894 fire damage over 3.6 seconds, and then it would explode to deal an additional 5,719 fire damage to the target and all other enemies within 10 yards. Other enemies hit by this explosion also become a living bomb, but this effect cannot spread further. So essentially, you put it on one target, and it hits all the other targets. They become living bombs, but it can't spread after the second target. So let's say you hit the first out of 10, it spread to the other 9. The 9 cannot spread that further. Then we have Unstable Magic. A passive fireball has a 25% chance to explode on impact, dealing 50% additional damage to the target and all other enemies within 8 yards. And finally, Flame Patch, another passive. Flame Strike leaves behind a patch of flames, which burns enemies within it for 11,448 fire damage over 8 seconds. So essentially, Flame Strike does not leave a patch on the ground anymore, but if you take Flame Patch, Flame Strike will leave that, kind of circular burn on the ground after the initial damage. In the 100 tier, we have Kindling, a passive where Fireball, Pyroblast, and Fire Blast critical strikes reduce the remaining cooldown on combustion by 1 second. We have Cinder Storm. This costs 1600 mana. It is a 1.36 second cast with an 8.15 second cooldown. Throws a spread of 6 cinders that travel in an arc, each dealing 4,646 fire damage to enemies it hits. Damage is increased by 30% if the target is affected by your ignite. And finally, Meteor. 1600 mana cost with an instant cast on a 45-second cooldown. This will call down a meteor which lands at the target location after 3 seconds, dealing 40,205 fire damage, split evenly between all targets within 8 yards, and it will burn the ground, dealing 10,720 fire damage over 8 seconds to all enemies in that area. So, let's go ahead and take a look at some of our baseline abilities and the animations. We have continued to keep slow fall. I know the Arcane Mage does not have slow fall anymore, so for fire, be aware. You still get slow fall, yay! We also still have Spell Steal. This will cost 33,600 mana, and the effect cannot last more than a maximum of 2 minutes that you steal. Okay, I do want to point out we do still have our teleports and our portals.
It's too far away.
I did want to check something earlier, and I forgot again, so I apologize. But not a big deal. So we do still have our teleports and our portals. We have Conjure Refreshment. We no longer have our Mage table, so we cannot put a Mage table down. We actually have to manually make all of our refreshments and hand them out to other people again. So that is unfortunate. Yep, you're going to have to do this. Oh, we got this. Trade it to somebody, put it in the thing. So that's what Blizzard wants us to do now. So maybe we can make that into a lucrative business. Stand at the portals in Dalaran when everybody's doing their artifact quests and hand that out for, 100 gold a stack or something. Probably not, but one can hope. Okay, so we talked about Blast Wave. Let's take a look at the animation for that spell. Mind you, the animation is going to take place up here. Unfortunately, that's the spot where Blizzard has all the animations, the ground animations at least taking place right up in this area, not along the actual bottom. Okay, here is Time Warp. Time Warp has changed. Much bigger animation for it. You still grow tall, grow a lot larger. Pretty cool. We take a look at Mirror Image. Mirror Image is the same as it's always been. Invisibility. We have baseline now, 4,800 mana cost, instant cast on a 5-minute cooldown. This will turn you invisible over 3 seconds, reducing threat each second. While invisible, you are untargetable by enemies, lasting 20 seconds, but taking any damage taking any action will cancel the effect. So, as you can see, 3 seconds and we are invisible, but if we were to cast a Blast Wave, we come back out. Okay, Ice Block, you can see we have the 2 charges. That is because of that talent, so Ice Block has not changed at all. We have Ice Barrier, 4,800 mana, instant cast, and a 25-second cooldown. This will shield us for 1 minute, absorbing 68,070 damage. While the shield holds, spellcasting will not be interrupted by damage. So this is our baseline defensive ability. Meteor we talked about. Let's take a look at Meteor. Kaboom! Pretty cool. I love that ability. So there you go on that. Flame Strike is a 4,800 mana cost, 3.62 second cast. This calls down a Pillar of Fire, burning all enemies within the area for 12,866 fire damage and reducing their movement speed by 50% for 8 seconds. So go ahead and take a look at what that looks like. Pretty cool. I love the new animation for that spell. Do remember that you can talent that to put Fire Patch on the ground as well. Combustion. This is a 16,000 mana cost, instant cast with a 2-minute cooldown. This will engulf you in flames for 10 seconds, increasing your critical strike chance by 100% and granting you mastery equal to your critical strike stat. This is unaffected by the global cooldown and can be casted while casting. So that is what we will look like when we cast Combustion. I love this animation. Kind of turns us into a transparent firewall. So that's how you know when somebody is using Combustion. So if you ever see a Fire Mage in PvP and he's popping that, it's time to go invisible. And we have the return of the Pyroblast, 4,000 mana, 4.08 second cast. And this will hurl an immense fiery boulder that causes 30,020 damage. Let's take a look at the animation for that. Same as it's always been. It's got a little bit of a new audio file to go along with it. I like it. Fireball. This is our base ability, I guess. 3,200 mana, 2-second cast, throwing a fiery ball that causes 12,866 fire damage. further away. Boom. That is our fireball. As you can see, we have not crit yet, so if we just crit. Boom. So we gained that. Now we gained Hot Streak, so we can cast a Pyroblast. This is how fire works. Fucking roulette. Just press a whole bunch of shit and hope that things happen. I love it. And we have Fire Blast, 1600 mana cost, instant cast with a 10.9 second recharge time. They can have a maximum of 2 charges, blasting an enemy for 10,006 fire damage. This damage is always a critical strike. This is unaffected by the global cooldown and is castable while casting. So you can see I can cast that ability twice while casting a fireball into 3, 4 instant cast Pyroblasts. I'm sorry I hit all that. I know that's a little confusing, but I wanted to show you how RNG based fire is. It is a hell of a lot of fun. And in PvP, if you were to get something like that off, you probably just one-shot someone. So we do have Scorch as well. This is cost 1600 mana on a 1.36 second cast, which scorches an enemy for 3,575 fire damage and is castable while moving. So we'll take a look at it. There, the animation is no different, but you can cast while moving. So if somebody's chasing you, you want to build up some damage, get some Ignite on them. There you go. Okay, now we have a Dragon's Breath. This costs 6,400 mana, is an instant cast on a 20-second cooldown. Enemies in a cone in front of you take 17,868 fire damage and are disoriented for 4 seconds. Damage will cancel the effect. Ooh, excuse me. Had a little bit of indigestion there. So we'll hit Dragon's Breath. We'll check it from the front. That's Dragon's Breath. As you can see, the DOT applied, and the Disorient. Blink we have, so Blink hasn't changed. Pretty cool. We have Frost Nova baseline, 3,200 mana, instant cast on a 30-second cooldown, blast enemies within 12 yards of you for 1,220 frost damage, and freezing them in place for 8 seconds. Damage may interrupt the freeze effect. Boom! As you can see, again, the animation on the ground is right up here. Hasn't changed at all. Living Bomb we talked about. There's no real super animation to that. You can see it's ticking, deals damage. It would have dealt damage to this as well, but this is a 112 mob, so it just missed. Ring of Frost we showed before while we were in our scenario, but this is what Ring of Frost is going to look like. Mind you, I do have my graphics turned down a little bit because the video gets a little stuttery if I turn anything up higher. So if you are on a computer that has a great graphics card and you have that on Ultra, it's probably going to look a little bit different for you. We have Counterspell, of course, is a baseline ability, and Polymorph as a baseline ability as well. And then for the last ability we're going to check out, we have Phoenix Flames. Let me move over here so we can get a decent look at it as it comes forward. Here is Phoenix Flames. As you can see, kind of throw a Phoenix bird up there. Pretty cool. I like it. I like it a lot. As you can see, here's the RNG again. We get a butt ton of damage out. Fire is a lot of fun, guys. I want you to really understand that this is a great spec. Again, it is very heavily RNG based. So if you are planning to raid and you're doing mythics and we're going for server first, you're probably going to want to go for arcane to start out with and move to fire maybe a little later on in the expansion if you don't give a shit about those things. I'm telling you right now, fire is a hell of a lot of fun. It's one of the more fun specs that I've played up until this point, along with shadow priests, elemental shamans, and enhancement shamans. I've had a blast playing all of those. I've had fun playing Arcane Mage, but of course it is a pretty boring spec. There's not much to it. Fire is a hell of a lot of fun. It's fun in PvP as well. Lots of chances to really blow somebody up before they have an opportunity to fight back.
I don't have a target.
And with the Phoenix ability, you kind of get a little extra there too. So, guys, I do want to thank you for joining me in this video along our path, checking out our class hall, checking out our artifact, checking out the talents and the abilities. If you did enjoy the video, please leave me a like. It does help. It does make me really happy and make me want to continue making these videos for you. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave that below. I would love to answer any questions you might have. If I do not know the answer, I will get on and find out the answer, whether it be from playing this myself or asking someone here in the Jesus Christ, the Mage class hall. Sorry, I'm choking on my tongue here. I will definitely try and find out the answer for you as fast as possible. So again, thank you for joining me on this journey, and I hope to see you in another video. Have a nice